Hello beautiful people, let's get started. So I know I don't usually show this, but my face and my eyes are primed with both of these products, and the Fenty Beauty, that is a soft matte primer. I'm starting off with the ColourPop Aha Honey palette, and I'm dipping into the shade Oh Behave. I'm packing the shade on the inner portion of the lid, so slightly above where the crease starts, and then also halfway through on the crease and like the upper portion. Like, y'all see where I'm packing it, like right there sis, like that's where I'm putting it. Grabbing my Urban Decay Electric palette, I'm going to be dipping into the shade Chaos. I'm packing the shade on right next to where we put Oh Behave in the crease and slightly above, and also winging it out. And I'm just packing that shade on from the wing and connecting it down to the outer portion of the lid. Then I'm going back and picking up a little bit of that shade Oh Behave and going back into Chaos. And you see I have both of those shades on top of the brush, and I'm going to mix it on the side. I'm doing this to kind of help close that gap in between that blue and that yellow shade. It's going to make it a little bit green, but I just want to make sure that I have a smooth blend between those two. Then I'm picking up the shade Rubbish from my Melt Cosmetics Rust Stack, and I'm going to be using this to blend out that section right above the yellow and the blue that I put down. And y'all know what's happening once I pick this up. You know, if I pick up that concealer, we cut in the lid space, we cut in the crease, we doing something. So I am carving out my lid space, and I'm carving out pretty much like 2/3 of the lid and just leaving the outer portion by itself or whatever. From my Kat Von D Beauty Saint and Sinner palette, I'm picking up that yellow shade called Relic, and I'm going to be placing this on kind of like the inner third of the lid where I just carved out that space. I go in with my finger at first, and then to kind of close in that gap where it's really like in those tight little small spaces, I'll use a brush. In my Melt Cosmetics Blueprint stack, I'm picking up the shade King Stud, and I'll be placing it right next to Relic on the lid. And I'm doing the same thing as before. I'm applying it with my finger and then using a smaller detail brush to close in the gaps. So after I applied these two shades next to each other, it felt like something was missing, so I ended up going back into my Blueprint stack and picking up the shade Hot Wire and placing it in between those two shades. Using the shade Dim Out, I will be using this to deepen up the look and kind of tie in those blue shades into the yellow. So I'm packing it on first on the outer portion of the lid, and then I'm using a very light hand with a smaller detail brush to kind of create this like crease area, carved out area situation. Y'all see what I'm doing, but pretty much I'm tying those colors in together. Moving on to the face, I'm grabbing my Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation in the shade Ebony and applying it all over my face. Then with a beauty blender that's damp with water, I'm blending everything out. To contour, I'm going in with the usual Fenty Beauty matchsticks in the shade Espresso. And a highlight, y'all know what it is. I am such a creature of habit. I stick to things that I know, so I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty matchsticks in the shade Suede. To set my highlight, I'm going in with my Kat Von D Beauty translucent powder, so I am going to be using my beauty blender and pressing this into the skin. And to set everywhere else, I'm going in with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deep, so I'm still using that pressing motion, just that I'm going in with a brush this time. Next, I'm going in with my ColourPop Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Black and Brown. I'm going to be starting out by using the spoolie end to comb through my brow. I do this to get a good idea of the natural shape of my brow, and then from there I will start filling it in and kind of starting from the beginning using very small strokes at first to kind of fill in the sparse areas. After I fill in all of those areas, I'll go back in and I'll start defining the actual overall shape. So I'll start on the bottom and then comb my way through, or any of the areas that I felt I went a little bit too heavy-handed. And then also I'll go back in and I'll just fill in the top portion. Moving back to the eyes, I'm going to be placing my NYX Suede lip liner, yeah I said it, lip liner, in my waterline. So I'm placing it in the waterline and on the lower lash line. Grabbing the shade Dim Out, I'm going to be placing this on the very outer portion of the lid. Then I'm picking up the shade King Stud and placing it right next to Dim Out. Next to that, I will be placing the shade Deadbolt. And with the shade Relic, I'll be placing that right in that small portion we still have open. And I'm also connecting the shade to the upper portion of the lid where we have it placed. Grabbing the shade Chaos, I'm going to be placing this on top of where we placed the shade Dim Out, so I'm doing this just to bring back that blue pigmentation. With the shade Rubbish from my Melt Cosmetics Rust Stack, I'm going to be using the shade to blend out the lower portion of the lid. And with my Kat Von D Beauty Tattoo Liner in the shade Trooper Black, I'm going to be lining my upper lash line to prep for my lashes. And for today's blush, the same thing, every time, ColourPop Parakeet. For my highlight, I'm going to be using my ABH Moonchild Glow Kit, and I'm going to be dipping into the shade Blue Ice. I'll be wetting the brush and applying it to all the areas of my face that I want to highlight. And for my lipstick today, I'm going to be going in with the Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle lipstick in the shade Clapback. And on top of that, I will be placing my Fenty Beauty Iridescent Lip luminizer in the shade Mermaid Thighs, and this is from the Summer Nights collection that they had. And to finish this entire look off, I'm going to be going in with my e.l.f. Illuminating Mist and Set Spray. I wasn't able to film my usual outro, but I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me create this look. Bless up, and until next time, sending out much peace, love, and enlightenment. Bye guys.